Alright guys, we have another famine denial video by our favorite Zionist propaganda channel, Traveling Israel. Let's see what galaxy brain arguments he uses to deny famine in Gaza yet again.
When you scroll through Gazans restaurants on social media, you see a lot of chocolate. To be precise, Nutella. Tons of Nutella. It's a real phenomenon. Everything I'm showing you here was filmed in Gaza in the past few days. This isn't AI, it is all real. And if you don't believe me, great. Don't believe a single word I say.
I don't.
On September 1st, Nutella Cafe opened in Gaza. Take a look.
وسلم فصلوا على خير البشر اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد رسولنا النبي الأمي المبعوث رحمة للعالمين.
And this is what's going on inside, all from the beginning of September 2025.
So, the presence of Nutella in the Gaza Strip somehow negates the reality that there is a famine going on. Is that all it takes to convince people that there's not a famine going on? I mean, that is just pathetic and disgusting. I mean, come on, guys. Nutella is not a source of good nutrition. Gaza doesn't need Nutella. Nutella is garbage, okay? They need things like eggs and flour. The fact that Israel lets in Nutella doesn't mean that there isn't a famine happening. It just means that they're letting in highly recognizable products to make it seem as though, oh, plenty of food is in the Gaza Strip. That's just not the case.
It is not just one or two cafes. Look at Vanilla Cafe and Gaza Cafe. I will leave more links in the description.
Guys, this is such an easily debunked talking point, right? The fact that there are cafes in Gaza does not disprove that there is a famine happening. If you saw my last video on Traveling Israel's famine denial, I bring up the Warsaw Ghetto, okay? In the Warsaw Ghetto, Jews were subjected to famine conditions, and lots of them died because they were starving. But there were still cafes in the Warsaw Ghetto, and there was really nice food as well, all right? Now, this is according to Cambridge. Are they Hamas? I don't know. For those with the means, restaurants in all the ghettos serve delicacies to ghetto notables. Cafe Hirschfield at the corner of Siena and Sosnowa Street in the Warsaw Ghetto sold luxury food items, including the most expensive liquors, cognac, pickled fish, canned food, duck, chicken, and goose. Now, the fact that there was cognac in the Warsaw Ghetto did not mean that Jews were not dying of famine, okay? This is a baby-brained argument, guys. So anytime someone brings up, oh, there's Nutella in the Gaza Strip, remind them that there was cognac in the Warsaw Ghetto. Did that mean Jews weren't dying? No, of course not. That is silly.
Just a few days ago, on September 1st, the same day the Nutella store opened in Gaza, headlines around the world said Israel is committing genocide. Look, the Washington Post, Israel is committing a genocide. Leading Scholars Association says. The Guardian, Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. World's top scholars on the crime say. BBC, Israel committing genocide in Gaza. World's leading experts say. First of all, it is a little odd that in every paper the headline is identical. It smells like someone was too lazy to do real journalism.
So his big detective moment is that the headlines sound too similar. Therefore, there's the giant conspiracy trying to smear Israel of what is obviously happening and has been confirmed by all of the human rights agencies. Like, come on, dude.
Copy-paste journalism. But here is the bigger question. Why should you believe me, a 43-year-old Israeli YouTuber who looks pretty good for his age, instead of serious newspapers? Good question. And not only that, they all rely on experts. Here is what it says. The world's leading Genocide Scholars Association has backed a resolution stating that Israel's action in Gaza meet the legal definition for the crime. Out of the International Association of Genocide Scholars, 500 members, 28% took part in the vote. Of those who voted, 86 supported the resolution. The International Genocide Association says Israel is committing genocide. You know who can join the International Association of Genocide Scholars?
Who?
Anyone who wants to. Just
Oh.
pay a membership fee.
It's funny because if you actually read the webpage, it says, we encourage anyone dealing with genocide in a scholarly or professional capacity to join. So I highly doubt anyone can just join if they want. Although he's going to give us proof that you can be, I don't know, like a character from a TV show and join.
That's it. The ones who uncovered this were honest reporting. They even showed how easy it is to become a member of this International Genocide Association.
I find it ironic that every video or picture which proves the genocide unfolding in Gaza, the famine unfolding in Gaza, he doesn't believe. Those are all staged. They're all fake. But he believes that these clearly photoshopped pictures of the Cookie Monster applying to be, a genocide scholar, those are real. He believes those without question. That's kind of weird.
Meanwhile, for 2 years, every picture you see from Gaza in the press is Hamas approved. Just a month ago, the New York Times was caught publishing famine photos that turned out to be kids with genetic diseases.
It turns out that kid with a genetic disease was severely malnourished. The fact that he had a genetic disease, although relevant, did not disprove that he was malnourished. Not only that, but his mom had lost a significant amount of weight since the blockade back in, March or April. So, yeah, that doesn't really make the point you want it to.
Famine photos that turn out to be kids with genetic diseases. Why? Because when 40% of people marry their cousins, you get genetic illnesses, not famine. Notice what you don't see in those papers. The cafes, the malls, the desserts, none of it. And much of what is shown about the war, fake. Remember that mother begging for donations where the scars magically switch from her child's face to her own? A glitch in the matrix. Do you think in Yemen?
So that disproves that the IDF is carpet bombing Gaza, shooting at people at GHF sites, shooting children in very precise locations. Okay, I guess. Yeah, so his big argument is that, cafes and restaurants being open disproves that there's a famine going on. But the problem is that the videos he uses as proof do not really paint the whole picture, okay? According to The Guardian, it says here, while a small number of cafes are open in Gaza, including some of those in the videos, they are operating in a severely limited capacity due to spiraling prices and scarcity of key ingredients. Basic ingredients are hard to obtain and prices fluctuate wildly from day to day. A kilo of flour can cost $12 one day and $40 the next. When you see a small coffee shop or cafe selling drinks or cakes at high prices, it does not truly reflect the reality most people in Gaza are living. Further confusion has been created by the fact that some of the cafes are posting pictures and videos from before they closed down. Hamada Ice Cream Shop has not been open for weeks. Recently posted a highlight reel of pastries, cakes, and drinks the cafe once served. The few cafes that are open are obviously not able to serve Gaza's entire population. Most people in Gaza right now are poor and trying to survive. But according to Israel's own data, they're not allowing enough food in. This is according to The Guardian in August. Data compiled and published by Israel's own government makes clear that it has been starving Gaza. Between March and June, Israel allowed just 56,000 tons of food to enter the territory, records show. Less than a quarter of Gaza's minimum needs for that period. Even if every bag of UN flour had been collected and handed out, and the GHF had developed safe systems for equitable distribution, starvation was inevitable. So even if all the food had been safely distributed, it still wouldn't have been enough. The total amount coming in was not enough.
Do you think in Yemen or Sudan, where there really is famine, people have Nutella cafes, iPhones, electricity, and time to make fake TikToks? I doubt it.
And this is another talking point that he has, right? That there's a famine in other parts of the world, like Sudan, and those are real famines. But I did a little bit of digging, And because his main argument is that cafes equal no famine, that means in Sudan there's no famine because they have restaurants that are open. Okay, so let's look at a couple of the restaurants we have here. So there's a place called Trin Resto Cafe. So that right there tells us there's no famine in Sudan, right? It is located in Port Sudan, Sudan. Look at this food. Look at all this food that they're offering. Look at that. They even have desserts. We have another restaurant here called Nomad Resto Bar in South Sudan. Look at that. That looks yummy. I guess there's no famine. Here's another restaurant called Heritage Restaurant and Cafe. It has a restaurant and a cafe, so that means there's doubly no famine. Look at that. Wow. Yep, I guess that seals it. That proves it, guys. No famine in Sudan. Oh, wait. There's another restaurant called 5G Restaurant Juba in South Sudan. Look at all the alcohol they have. Whatever this is. Wow. All right, guys. I guess I just proved that there's no famine in Sudan.
The main course is the UN. The UN also just released a report against Israel, accusing it of famine and genocide. The author, Dr. Andy Seal.
Wait a second. He scrolled through that UN report really fast, and he's making it seem like this one guy authored the entire report. But let's go back. Okay, there's our guy, Andrew Seal. But I've noticed something strange. There are 5 other people with names on this report. 6, actually. So he's making it seem as if this one guy, who he's going to try to smear later, is the sole author. And it's only his opinion that's expressed in this report. But there's a bunch of other people.
Senior lecturer at University College London. The problem? Back on October 28th, 2023, just one day after the IDF entered Gaza, he was already using the hashtag Gaza genocide.
Okay, well let's think about why he would do that. Now, I would imagine that this guy traveling Israel would say that the Hamas attack on innocent civilian Jews, Israelis, was a genocidal attack. Okay, and that resulted in the death of 1,200 people, right? So this is from a website by the OCHA. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, the Israeli attacks conducted in Gaza between October 7th and October 28, 2023, resulted in the killing of 7,700 Palestinians, including 3,200 children. Now, I don't know numbers too well, okay, but I believe that's almost 3 times the number, just the children alone, 3 times the number of those killed on October 7th. Now, if you're going to call the Hamas attacks on Israelis genocidal, then you also have to say that killing 3,200 children, not Hamas militants, children, that is also genocidal. So I'm fine with him calling it that early on. And guys, you'll notice that in this video, he never addresses any of the points, arguments, data, facts, what have you, in that UN report. He just uses ad hominem attacks against this one author out of 6 to discredit it. But that's not how you build an argument. It's not how you build a case. You actually have to address what he and the other authors said in that report if you want to be taken seriously. Well, there you have it, guys. Another brain-dead famine denial video by our favorite Zionist propaganda channel, Traveling Israel. Hope you enjoy this one. Like and subscribe. Please consider donating in the links below. Love you guys. Bye-bye.